What's up, y'all? Got a little bored. Um, so I decided, why not? You know? I haven't had any interesting things to do other than do some drafts. I did a couple drafts off stream today. Um, and it was mainly related to the Ashton Jeanty um, stuff. So, post Jeanty revival. So, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna take a look at some of my teams. So, what I had been doing, so I looked at all my teams that had Jaden Higgins, and I just thought of this idea. And I actually realized I have this really nice team here. I got Mahomes. I reached on all my quarterbacks. However, I got JT, Kenneth Walker. Some would say I'm like Mason Dog for that one. But I also I also took Chris Olave, so very similar. But in this one, I take four running backs. Kenneth Walker was at a cheap price, so I'll take him there. Irving and Pollard are basically at current price. Chris Olave, I got at a cheaper price than he's going at right now. Getting him at pick 30. Rashi Rice, this is in the middle of the jail time saga, so I got a huge value on him. Where I have a first round pick, a second round pick, a 2-3 turn guy, and a 2-3 turn guy. Maybe third round if you want to say for Chris Olave. So I feel a lot better about this team than I probably did when I drafted it. BTJ I got at value. Same thing for Michael Pittman. Obviously, the Jaden Higgins thing sucks, but when you have a Rashi Rice, 16.3 delta up into the second round, that is a elite change that you're looking for. Jalen McMillan a little expensive, but not that bad. Malik Washington super valuable, and Tyquan Thornton, so I could have the double stack with Mahomes here. Um, Tight ends don't really matter, but Jawan Johnson at an immense value is also pretty cool. Um, yeah, let's take a look at this mini Schnauzer. Uh, Maybe we'll get into a draft today. We'll see. I don't know if I'm feeling it. I've kind of gone into a few, so. Okay, we got Burrow here at value. CJ Stroud basically at value, and Jacoby Brissett ahead of value, but I probably was reaching on that third QB there. We got DeAndre Swift, who looks pretty valuable at that value. Bashal Toon as well. I did the Double Bears running back in this one, and it did not pay off. However, the other one did, so it's kind of a hedge here in a Trey McBride team. Again, the Oronde Gadsden has been my worst pick all season. I do think that he has a little bit more talent than Njoku does receiving wise, and I think Charlie Kolar is strictly a receiving tight end, or strictly a blocking tight end, but I guess we'll have to see through the season. At the rest of these running backs, Woody Marks is looking like a great pick. Tajay Spears, got a good value there. Kalon Black got a really good value there as well. Um, we got Jamar Chase, Nico Collins, DK Metcalf all at price. Michael Wilson a little bit cheap. Casey Concepcion slightly cheaper. Obviously the Jaden Higgins, that's what we're looking at. Devon Vele in this team kind of rounds it out a little bit because we're talking about saving a little bit of our season there. I actually don't mind this receiver room where I think you have the obviously Jamar Chase and Nico Collins. Those are absolute smashes. Um, Casey Concepcion, Michael Wilson, Devon Vele together can put together a um, a flex worthy season, like a wide receiver three flex worthy. Like I think that they'll be able to get in there. However, we do have a good running back core here, where we have DeAndre Swift, Bashal Tutin, who should be lead backs or at least 70% backs within their respective backfields. We have Kalon Black, Tajay Spears, Woody Marks, who could be touchdown upside, lower end backs. Tajay Spears has the upside to eventually become RB1 in his backfield, so there's that. Obviously, we have Trey McBride, which I kind of reached on him here. Not exactly sure why, but I'm okay with that pick. And Gadsden, which I got an extreme value apparently because I've seen a lot worse on the Delta for my Gadsden picks, but it's not bad there. Let's take a look at the puppy 2 here, where we got Drake May when he was still going as QB5. Um, Baker Mayfield. So this is a team from June 2nd. Um, Baker Mayfield, CJ Stroud. We get Gibbs at the 2, which is always really funny to look back on. Jeremiah Love at 26. Second round, Jeremiah Love did not age well at all. So there's that. That was actually still a third round pick, but yeah. David Montgomery, pretty solid pick. He is looking like he's going to be in a 50-50 backfield off of recent news, so don't know how I feel about that, but I think that Ramondre Stevenson can fill in the assumption that we have Jeremiah Love out for a couple weeks into the season. I think that's a perfect amount of time for Ramondre Stevenson to fill in there. In the meantime, we also do have A.J. Brown here, who looks great at his value. Mike Evans, who may be a little bit of a struggle. Josh Downs is a little bit of a riser. Jaden Higgins, Omar Cooper. Don't love either of those picks, obviously. I did hedge my Jaden Higgins with Tank Dell here, getting the double stack with CJ Stroud, so hopefully the Tank Dell will return well. The Dontavian Wicks is a great return here. Trey Harris is a pretty solid return. Laporta, Dalton Schultz, Colby Parkinson, all of these tight ends I got pretty good values on, so overall pretty happy there. And the final team here is this puppy team. Reached on all the quarterbacks. I'm not counting Shador as a reach actually, but like minor reaches, nothing crazy. David Montgomery I took early just because I was probably scared of the no running back. Quinshon Judkins, lead back in his backfield. Chuba Hubbard, yeah, not looking like the greatest pick, but I got an immense value there where Chuba Hubbard was kind of going a lot earlier in drafts as in he was a 6th round pick. This is the Puppy 3, so this is actually not that long ago, August 10th, so not an immense value for when I got him. Ray Davis looks good. Emmett Johnson is at value. Jamar Chase, good. Devonta Smith, good. Quentin Johnston looks pretty nice. Casey Concepcion with the rise here. Higgins obviously falls off, but Dijon Stribling basically leapfrogs into his spot. Naylor was a little bit of a reach, but we got Bowers and Schultz in this one. So overall, not bad. Like, I've had worse teams. So we're going to take a look at my Ashton Jeanty teams now. And there's actually not a lot of them. I have been a big Mike Washington truther. Obviously, the news today on Jeanty, and let me just check to see if there was anything more on that, but I don't think there was. Yeah, so the most recent information we have is that Ashton Jeanty is believed to have suffered a sprained ankle. I put out this tweet here. Like, can you tell me I'm wrong? I don't know. I was super scared. Out there with that pick 100 plus is extremely discouraging. Yeah, that is 100% true. Damn. Yeah, like, unless Jeanty really doesn't produce or like their other picks don't hit, I feel like people who drafted on Sunday, August 23rd are gonna be the people who won. Um, 1 BBM at the least. for these earlier drafts, I guess they've closed, so that's not possible. But yeah, we'll see. Um, oh, wait, yeah, I guess we can go bottom up. So this is a draft from July 13th, a little over a month ago. I got a value. No, I didn't. I kind of reached on my second two quarterbacks, but my first quarterback was fine. Ashton Jeanty here. Hoping that he will be okay, but assuming we just go on this ADP, got him at value. Obviously, I got like quote unquote reach on Hampton here, but I'm a huge Hampton guy, so don't have any problems with it. Jadarian Price, I got at value. Jonah Coleman, I got below value, and Emmett Johnson, I got below value. So, can this team potentially survive without Jeanty? Yes and no. Obviously, my first round pick going makes this team very weak. However, and this is very much just cope. Omarion Hampton and Jadarian Price, I feel, will be able to hold it down for me in the early season. This team is obviously banking on a J.K. Dobbins injury, where Jonah Coleman becomes a legitimate league winner, or a Kenneth Walker injury where Emmett Johnson could be a league winner as well, getting me those running back points. Um, and let's take a look here. So we got Ted McMillan, minus 4.3. So I kind of reached on him here, kind of was more likely than not a little stressed about the receiver situation. And also, I think that he was going around there. Malik Neighbors with the insane value, that also does help me save this team because Malik Neighbors is basically a second round pick. So, yes, I don't have Ashton Jeanty on this team, but I have Omarion Hampton and Malik Neighbors. That's two second round picks. It's not the worst, you know. Definitely helps. And Brian Thomas Jr., pretty much a reach. Addison, I reach on that guy a lot. Myers turns out to be a reach. Jalen Coker is a fine pick. Surratt obviously has become one of the worst picks I've been making, but really good tight end values here where I got Jawan Johnson, Isaiah Likely, and TJ Hawkinson all at cheap value. So let's take a look at the Puppy 3 where I decided to draft him in as well. And also, are these all? Okay, they're not all puppies. I was about to say. So we got quarterbacks basically at or slightly above value. Ashton Jeanty we take here with the 14th overall pick. So he was a second round pick here, which is important to note. Obviously doesn't make too much of a difference, especially because this is a 4 RB build. You kind of do need Ashton Jeanty to be good here. But I did also get CeeDee Lamb on this team. Important to note that. I will say, getting him at 14, that's kind of like where a lot of the teams that I was going for today got him. So, nothing crazy there. And I do have pretty solid upside with Javonte Kyron and Kenny Gainwell, which is definitely why I went for the 4 RB build here. Yeah, this team is pretty much killed in my opinion otherwise because we have CeeDee Lamb and then we have Devontae Adams, Carnell Tate, Jaden Reed, Travis Hunter, which is, I mean, they're all looking pretty positive other than the Greg Dulcich buy, which is slightly negative. But yeah, I don't know how much I love this team. And this team was drafted 6 days ago, so it's kind of annoying. Where I feel like I probably really like this team in the moment and don't like it anymore. This is a 5 RB Jeanty build where I take him at the 12 and take Achane at the 13 back when, you know, it was still a little bit acceptable. Reached on all the QBs and I took Mendoza and Gino here in a Stafford build. So this is a QB, like basically just waiver wire QBs, and it's going to be Matthew Stafford and Geno Smith for the first 8 weeks. I'm not loving it. Devon Achane and Ashton Jeanty look really good, but assuming Jeanty isn't good, Devon Achane, Kyron Williams still pretty solid. Kyle Monunga as well in there, and if James Conner gets traded, which God, please, please trade James Conner. That is some value there, but Zay Flowers at a value, Roma Dunze, and this is a Jordan Tyson team. Jordan Tyson, Omar Cooper. So I missed on 2 rookies, but I hit on Ryan Flournoy like crazy. Um, this is May 3rd. This is probably one of the earliest teams I've ever drafted. So was definitely new to drafting at this time, like on Underdog at the least, but like I don't completely hate it. I'm just not a big fan here. Roma Dunze looks like a better pick day by day. Sutton is fine, but taking Jordan Tyson and Omar Cooper and missing on both is pretty brutal. Hitting on Jalen Naylor, hitting on Ryan Flournoy, those are pretty great, but overall doesn't really affect the way that I think about this team. Um, Lamar and Mahomes, so this is an expensive QB build where I did this 2 months ago now. Achan and then Jeanty. Again, in the case that Jeanty goes down, backup being Tyrone Tracy, very bad pick at this current time. Yeah, this team might be just cooked in general. Nick Singleton, Katron Allen, Tajay Spears, and Tyrone Tracy. So this was a team that was kind of betting on the individual usage being good for both Tajay Spears and Nick Singleton, where I also do think that the Titans could be a sneaky good team this year, giving us some value in either running back position, but I don't think both are going to hit. If Jeanty is not good, I think that this Pointer team is 100% dead. This is an $11 buy-in too, which is pretty sad to go with there. What I will say is I do also get Rashi Rice here, um, which kind of saves the Jeanty thing, but the thing is that, like, even though there's 6 RBs, I kind of missed on every RB in this backfield if Jeanty isn't good. Devon Achan and Tyrone Tracy looks like he might get cut or traded or just buried in the depth chart. Tajay Spears looks fine, but Nick Singleton along with him just was a bad pick. Katron Allen doesn't look like he's ever going to sniff any playing time in Washington, barring injury. Not looking too good here. Carnell Tate. I mean, I'm okay with Carnell Tate at his price because if he can just do the same thing as Marvin Harrison Jr. as he did in his rookie season, it's honestly pretty good at price where you're getting him in the 5th round. Or in this case, I got him in the 6th round. So, not bad. Receiver wise, this is pretty solid. Oh, Jeremy Bernard at the bottom there is not a good looker, but Pittman, Golden, they're pretty solid there. Isaiah Likely with the 6 point difference, all right, I guess. Sadiq at a huge loss, Gesicki at a huge loss, so need a hit on Likely there basically, but yeah, not a big fan of that Pointer team. Let's take a look at the Little Dalmatian 4. This is a 2 QB build where I took Lamar and Tyler Shuck at values. I get Ashton Jeanty here at 15. I pair him up with Travis Etienne, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, Chris Rodriguez, Zach Charbonnet, and Ray Davis. Ray Davis was an insane buy is what it looks like here. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt and Chris Rodriguez coming to me at value as well, but overall, nothing super special that I could build, like, say that I have confidence in. This would really take a James Cook injury to be a pretty solid team. If we look at the receivers, we have CeeDee Lamb, Zay Flowers, Carnell Tate, Makai Lemon, Godwin, Pat Bryant looks like a good pick at that value. 3 days ago, I guess. It's a Keon in this one, I guess, for some reason. Kittle, Hunter Henry, Greg Dulcich, Yeah, so these are just this is basically one of my most recent teams. And the original Little Dalmatian, the first Little Dalmatian. Let's take a look at this. This was June 29th. We get Herbert, Shuck, and Sanders here. Jeanty and Omarion Hampton again in this build. Omarion Hampton could slam. Quinshon Judkins is the lead back in Cleveland, so I don't hate that. And I decided to make this a 4 RB build where I took Tyler Algier, where if Jeanty does miss a portion of the season, and it's just a small portion, there's also a chance that Jeremiah Love may miss a portion of the season, or Tyler Algier just has a touchdown upside. So it could be useful in Bestball. Now, in this one, we got Ladd and Malik Neighbors. So these Malik Neighbors pairings in these Jeanty teams is really what's saving me here, because I am replacing Ashton Jeanty basically with Malik Neighbors at value. Roma Dunze, whatever, Jordan Addison, Jacoby Myers. Yeah, Coker is fine. Antonio Williams is a huge sell. Malik Washington is fire. Harold Fannin is, yeah, you kind of have to be like a solidly low Harold Fannin area for me to buy him. Juwan Johnson's Greg Dulcich. So a team I drafted roughly 2 months ago looks pretty decent. So yeah, overall, I mean, obviously most of these teams are not going to look good. When we take a look at Ashton Jeanty, like him going down would be astronomically worse for our team. I do want to see. I don't have a lot of Christian McCaffrey. So let's take a look at the 2 teams I did take him in, which are both teams that I drafted in June. So in this team, we take Dart, Love, Rogers, and we reached the hell out of Dart here. But yeah, this is a CMC, Saquon Barkley. I feel like I remember streaming this team. DeAndre Swift, Jordan Mason. So this is a pretty solid room here. We get Malik Neighbors as a value here. And, Garrett Wilson is pretty good, but Jordan Tyson kind of hurts us here. Michael Pittman and then Omar Cooper hurts us here. Jalen McMillan is good, but Ted Hurst is a reach here. Darnell Mooney doesn't look like he'll be too much, so... But the tight end room is really solid. Overall, don't really love this team at values, but Jackson Dart, Jordan Love, Aaron Rodgers, CMC, Saquon Barkley, if they can repeat their top years, well, obviously this will be a Frenchie 5 winning team. However, we don't really know exactly what's going to go there. This team drafted in on June 16th, so a week over 2 months ago. I get all my QBs a little early. We take McCaffrey and Achane here. So at that time, Achane was a value. Now that is his price. Montgomery, I get at a value here. Keaton Mitchell, I get at a value, which looks, really good. And Dylan Sampson. This team so far looks pretty solid. Zay Flowers, solid pick. Luther Burden. Yeah, it's kind of hurts the team. Brian Thomas Jr. obviously there. Jaden Reed at a solid value, but we also have Jacoby Myers in this, and we don't have a Trevor Lawrence, which is interesting build-wise. Interesting for sure. Taking Gadsden here is bad. We have the entire Jacksonville Jaguars team here with Brenton Strange as well. I feel like I remember just streaming this. Terrence Ferguson, obviously the massive riser recently, but yeah. Like, we are banking on Brenton Strange replacing that Gadsden value and Terrence Ferguson replacing the Brenton Strange value, and then pushing the Gadsden value all the way down to where we got Terrence Ferguson. So, I mean, I guess if you just rearrange our tight ends in that way, it kind of works. But not too jazzed about that team. Yeah. I could obviously look at my Amon-Ra St. Brown teams, but let's take a look at some of these one-shot teams, like the Pug. Drafted a month and a week ago. In this one, we have, guess who I got here? Amon-Ra St. Brown. We take 3 quarterbacks. Basically, I mean, they net out at a basically .8, so solid on the quarterback front. The early running backs I take end up being a little bit early, with Scat being early, Judkins at price, and Kyle Monungai being early. However, with Woody Marks and Jonah Coleman, I do recover a little bit here. Amon-Ra St. Brown looks decent. Drake London looks alright. Like, it's not the end of the world at that value. Chris Olave looks pretty solid. Josh Downs is better. Wandale Robinson is good. Antonio Williams is horrible, but Jalen Noel is what we're going to assume makes up for it to an extent. Tyler Warren, great, but my other 2 tight ends are not great at all. So, kind of banking on Tyler Warren and Josh Downs for this team. Not loving it, but it's okay. Mini Golden, a team that we have I guess Malik Willis we got at a huge value, which is always nice to see. Travis Etienne turns out to be a massive bust at that value. Quinshon Judkins, I don't think I'm gonna like this team. Already looking at it. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt is great. Woody Marks is great. Emmett Johnson, Damon Claiborne, I still like that pick. I don't know. I like taking Jordan Mason because I feel like he'll be like an eat your vegetables kind of back where he can get you 10 to 12 fantasy points and you can play him in your flex if you need him. However, Damon Claiborne has the young upside potential. I think Aaron Jones is washed. I think that they may see as they're transitioning towards making this team good again that Damon Claiborne could add a lot to this team. We take Puka, Nico Collins, Terry McLaurin, DK Metcalf, Jacoby Myers, but Matthew Golden kind of fills in on that Jacoby Myers value. So this is a cheap Matthew Golden, cheap Brenton Strange, a cheap Dalton Schultz, and a at value Gunnar Helm. I could be less jazzed. Like that's pretty solid. Purdy, Kyler, and CJ Stroud, where I net out pretty good on QBs here. Brees Hall, he obviously falls for the groin injury, so yeah. And then we take Ramondre Stevenson here. We take Jonathan Brooks. So this is a newer draft. So Jonathan Brooks, not the massive riser as we would expect. He's actually ahead of value. Jonah Coleman, Ray Davis. I probably streamed this a few days ago. But yeah, I mean, like, obviously I'm pretty much going to like this team if it's going to be a recent team. Frenchie 7 is a team that I drafted 2 months ago. It's a $20 draft, one of the most expensive drafts I've been in. Let's take a look at how this fared. Quarterback-wise, I did end up reaching pretty hard on Cam Ward, which kind of lowers my quarterback score here. Kyron, Bucky Irving, Tony Pollard, and I paired him up with Tajay Spears and then Braylon Allen. Ugh. Not my finest quarterback room, I will say. However, I was picking at the 3, so kind of does happen. You know, like sometimes you just gotta live with what you get from the 3. Jamar Chase, Nico Collins, Jalen Waddle, Mekhi Lemon's a bust. Josh Downs kind of makes up for the Mekhi Lemon bust. Not really. Jacoby Myers is a fail. Jalen McMillan is a fail. Dalton Schultz looks decent and kind of nets out my tight end room, but not a great team overall for that Frenchie. Let's take a look at this Corgi. This was from about a month ago, so nothing too much should have changed other than this Cyrus Allen, who is looking like he is an immense value here. I reached on both of my, or two of my tight ends so significantly that I'm so negative at tight end. Reached on Mendoza and Jaden Daniels to the point that my quarterback room looks pretty dead. Chase Brown, Josh Jacobs, Kenny Gainwell, Tajay Spears, Mike Washington looks really good here, especially considering the Jeanty news. CeeDee Lamb, Emeka Egbigbu, obviously dealing with the turf toe. Christian Watson, all right. Jordan Addison, fine. Jacoby Myers, early. Jaden Higgins on this team, so. Jaden Higgins on this team. Oh, okay. The Boxer. This is the team that I did 9 days ago, and I do remember streaming this. It is looking like I did get some good values here at running back, where I got Hampton, Quinshawn Judkins at a value, Jadarian Price at a value, Tyler Algier at a value, and Jonah Coleman at a value. Josh Allen, Jackson Dart at values as well, which is really nice to see, especially when you have a 2 QB draft. Take a look at these wide receivers. CeeDee Lamb, take at ADP. Devonta Smith is a value. He definitely was a faller here where I get him in the third round, or deep in the third round. Taking Sutton a little ahead of value because I was behind on receiver. Jordan Addison kind of fills that out. Wan'Dale Robinson, Denzel Boston, Zachariah Branch towards the end there. So not too bad. Oh, I also have Malachi Fields down here, who has been a riser, who has been a red zone target. Who I do stack up with Jackson Dart here. So I don't think I have. I don't. Yeah, I do not have the stack with Josh Allen, and I feel like I could have taken Dawson Knox at the end there and played on the touchdown upside that he has instead of having Mike Gesicki, but still does not look the worst to me. Does not look the worst at all. Basset Hound. This looks like a very straight up team. It's because it's so recent. I'm gonna avoid looking at teams that are recent. All right, the Pointer is a very old tournament. Did we already look at this one? Because it's the Ashton Jeanty team. We did. Let's take a look at the team that wasn't an Ashton Jeanty team. Ugh, man. Mendoza, Rogers, and Watson. I don't know what I was doing here at QB. Rogers is going to be my starter for the first couple of weeks. Then I need Mendoza in. Hope, like, this team is relying on Deshaun Watson to potentially be a starter. Maybe Shador Sanders gets hurt, but even then I feel like they'll move to Dillon Gabriel. Yeah, that's disgusting, dude. That's disgusting. QB we may have just sold this entire team because the rest of this team looks really good and makes sense why. Actually, not even, because Travis Etienne is early. DeAndre Swift looks fire. Ja'Cory Crosby-Merritt and Woody Marks look fire. Mekhi Lemon looks so bad. DK Metcalf somehow looks decent. Josh Downs looks decent. KC looks decent. Rashid Shaheed looks good. Tank Dell looks great. Darnell Mooney looks horrible. Bowers and Laporta. Yeah. Pointer might be dead for me. The Pointer may be dead. Little Dalmatian. Alright. Let's keep going. We looked at this team, right? Why do I feel like I've seen this team? Lamar Shuck, Walker, ETN. I guess we didn't. I have a very similar team or something. I reached on every running back here. Oh my god. Yeah, I don't like that. Jetta's Neighbors makes my receiving room even better. I decided not to go for the 6 RB and went for the 5 RB 8 receiver for some reason, and I took Jordan Tyson, so that's a sell. Debo at 159 is very nice. Washington. Is pretty nice, but all the tight ends are bad here. I'm an AJ Barner truther, but damn. We're not looking at those teams. We just drafted these. Let's look at the Chihuahua. Bo Nix I got at a value here, but this is an expensive QB draft. Travis Etienne not hitting does make this worse, but Ramondre Stevenson, Jordan Mason, I feel like you do have a good amount of points there. Keen Mitchell has the best ball upside. Emmett Johnson in the case of an injury. Jordan James, who does not look like he'll be the backup back, so I don't know what's going to happen there. Jalen Waddle at a value. JMO at value. Missed on Omar Cooper, but massively hit with Dejon Stribling, and then massively missed with Antonio Williams right after. So overall, not horrible. We did reach a little bit on our receivers. We are like, Antonio Williams doesn't look like he'll be much. Omar Cooper doesn't look like he'll be much. But Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle, J-Mo looks pretty solid. Otherwise, you got Michael Pittman Jr. and Dejon Stribling. Still pretty solid overall, and there is a minute chance that Omar Cooper and Antonio Williams do end up hitting. Again, instead of taking Bo Nix here, I probably would have wanted to take like another receiver. Tight ends look good though, obviously. Tight ends look good. Oh my god, Gadsden drafts just suck. I like this QB room, even though it's a reach room, but it's pretty solid. Don't love the Jeremiah Love pick, but the Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, the Tank Bigsby, the Emmett Johnson, and the Jaden Blue team. Or sorry, Emmett Johnson didn't age well, but Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, Tank Bigsby, and Jaden Blue all age pretty well here. To an extreme value, actually. So I got them all at 15 plus ADP values. Yet Pickens here. Jalen Waddle looks really nice. Adams is a little bit of a reach. Marvin Harrison is looking a little bit better. Josh Downs is good. Omar Cooper sells this team. Kittle is solid. Gadsden is horrible. And Schultz is all right. And I guess this is going to be the last team that we're going to do here. In this one, we are reaching at quarterback pretty significantly. We reach all over running back. Jesus fucking Christ. I took Travis Etienne, Travion, Kyle Monungai, Tyrone Tracy. Yeah, this might be my worst running back room. I actually need to go out of my way and because this is an atrocious running back room here. Where this was looking like it probably would have been a very solid room, but does not look that good anymore. Like, fell down because of the Kamara news, which I don't understand how he hasn't returned on this value. Travion Henderson, yeah, it's not a great pick. Kyle Monunga, not a great pick. Tyrone Tracy, horrible looks. Tyler Algier is fine, but man, that is. Yeah. Do we look at these? Sorry. Okay, so this running back room kind of sells the team. We get Amon-Ra here. A.J. Brown, Luther Burden is pretty bad here. Quentin Johnston, Michael Pittman, Jalen McMillan early, Elijah Surratt, fucking gut punch. Dalton Kincaid, Jawan Johnson, great. Eli Stowers, pretty bad. Yeah, overall this team is just not good. Don't expect too much out of this team. But yeah. That is as far as we will look for the day. If you are interested in seeing more of my teams, we'll definitely take a look. I was originally looking through like this, and this was taking me forever, so I decided, why not just get it into my extension itself. But we're 125 drafts down. We are now 17 days away from the season, so 2 weeks and 3 days. The current Bestball team drafts that you can get into, the Lil Dalmatian 2, which is too rich for my blood, the Lil Dalmatian 5, which is a draft that I've been getting into. I'll just enter into a slow draft while we're here live. Just for the fuck of it. A 6-man's, the Satellite, which I still just don't know too much about, the Mastiff, the Bestball Mania, which will probably just fill towards the end there. I will probably be getting into a few Bestball Manias and just seeing what we can do, but yeah. Alright. That is that. I guess we'll wait to see what pick we get here. Alright. Now, we did hear good news about McCaffrey, and guess what I'm still gonna do? I'm still gonna take on Monroe St. Brown. There's just no way you can convince me to take anyone that's not Amon-Ra St. Brown at the 6. And my current exposures may hurt to see that, because I haven't actually went and looked at it, but yeah, I just drafted him again. He is now a 22% drafted, 127. Yeah. We'll definitely have to see how that goes. But for now, that's all I have to give you. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.